All right, we're live again. Second technology thing be damned.
I mean, I guess I can't charge my phone. That's what.
It's just wasn't actually technology. That was user error on that one.
Well, I think it's these like cheap Chinese cords, man. Honestly, because dude, I picked up my phone and it's like I'm in a shaded garage and it was like it's overheating and I mean it was hot. It wasn't even just like oh
Yeah,
it's warm. It's like this hot.
yeah. So I gave the example right after you cut off of the training playlist where it was like inputting just random things, and I had like these like pretty good rock playlists or like new metal or just kind of stuff, and then it would throw in like Jeremy by Pearl
Yeah,
Jam, and it was like this is a good song, but it's like use your AI better. This does not fit with what we're doing. Like, give me something that I haven't heard a billion times before.
for sure, man. That like there's so much good music out there. Just as an example, that Eastern Kentucky playlist, like those artists are out there.
Yeah,
It's just if that playlist in particular hadn't been made, none of them are getting on like Tyler Childers radio. You know
totally.
what I mean? And they deserve to be. Like those artists, some of them are really great. So it's kind of frustrating to me. I wish there was a way that you could put in like, feed me songs I've never heard from this era, genre,
Yeah,
whatever.
give it a
Um,
prompt like you would on on like Mid Journey.
yeah. Oh, just write me a song I've never heard before.
Right.
You know?
That's like that band I've been sharing with you the last couple of weeks, Tiger Cub.
Dude, I've
Like,
been jamming them a
dude,
lot.
they're good. Did
Yeah.
I told you about when I looked them up on their tour schedule, right? And
Yeah,
they're
they were
like,
right there.
it was like the day that I had discovered this band. I look up on Instagram and their tour schedule's posted, and they're supposed to be in Boise that night, like in 3 hours. I'm like, no bleeping way. And
Yeah.
they ended up having to cancel the show because they're UK based and they had trouble getting over with visas or whatever. But I was like, well, that would have been pretty sick to be able to just like the day I discover a new band, like drive 20 minutes and go see them.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's the best. Like some of the, so that's how I found they used to be called Blackfoot Gypsies, and now they're called DOG. But they were a band. I think Brandon Langlois actually went and saw them two or three times.
Mm,
Really weird, super talented, trying kind of trippy, mushroomy
yeah.
kind of vibe. But a funny story about them: one of their guitar players, or the guitar player, he had on a huge hat, like big feather. I mean, it was a big dick daddy hat. Like he was the biz, and he looked like Jimmy Page, you know.
Okay.
So like that style of dress, very like he looked like he came right out of a '70s rock video. And I had on one of my big wide brim Gunner Fox hats, and I was like, dude, it's not very often I get outshined by another man's hat in a room. And he had his arms crossed, and he like looked over his shoulder, and he went at me, and he goes, oh. And then like just looked straight back forward. But later on in the night, he was super cool, and he was like, "I'm sorry, I was just really high." So that's like that's cool.
Dude, did I send you the? I can't remember if I sent you the picture. I went to the record store last night. Did I show you the find that I had last night?
No.
Check this out. I'll grab it. So the dude was at the record shop, was like super pumped, and he goes, "This is a really early pressing, so that it's not a reissue. It's like one of the original pressings in the '70s,
Oh, okay.
and it's in." He said it's probably the best condition I've seen of this record since then.
Oh shit,
Marvin Gaye,
bro.
what's going on? I was freaking pumped. I've been just ripping it all morning long.
Dude, that's such a like he was so talented, and to think his father killed him. I mean, it's insane.
That's
Like
a
it's such a sad story.
terrible story.
Who would you?
I put him maybe I think I put him top 3 all time on
Yeah,
singers.
yeah. Like just from a voice standpoint
Yep.
alone, and like
Yep.
that, it's like a charisma.
Yep.
Like Elvis had it.
Yep.
Like to captivate the way that they did. But I was going to ask you if you had a free ticket mid 70s, like early 70s.
Early 70s.
All right, and I'm going to give you two, but I would also ask beyond that too. Um, would you rather see Aretha Franklin or James Brown in Atlanta in the early 70s? Or if you had a Willy Wonka style golden ticket to any show, any band, any venue, give it to me.
To answer the first question, I'd probably go James Brown.
Okay, same.
Yeah, just because of the theatrics of the show. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
the total package of the show. Like as a performer, I'd probably be more blown away by Aretha's singing ability. But like if I'm
right.
talking the complete aspect of the show, like I don't know how you beat that with everything that he would do.
I saw a guy one time. It might have been a Rolling Stone. He was like, James Brown is what Napoleon would have been if he had rock and roll. Like the
That's good.
grandiosity and like,
Yes.
the over the topness. But yeah,
That's good.
and I guess James Brown is a small man. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
he
dude,
wasn't very big.
some of his clips from like CNN and that stuff,
Yeah.
like he just got out of jail for beating his wife, and now he's single and ready to mingle. He's
Did
like
you see the movie with Chadwick that they did
no.
where Chadwick was him? They actually I thought he did a really good job as him. Like he had I mean, he kind of went deep into the character prep for that. I thought he did great in that one.
I'll have to check it out. Is it new or
No,
recent?
it's probably 6 or 7 years old now.
Okay,
So
because dude,
I can't remember
are
what
you
it's
like
called though.
are you like me? Before we go back to the other question, are
Yeah.
you like me in that? Do you watch a lot of new movies?
Not really, man. I mean,
I have
like,
I haven't watched a new movie unless it's a documentary.
yeah,
Well, I take that. But what was the night? Was it 1914 or something? Was it one of those World War One movies?
1917.
It's 1917. Yeah, I
Yep.
watched that one
Yep.
when it came to like Amazon or something. But dude, it's very far in between.
Like my movie theater experience is even less.
Yeah,
But just new movies in general, I probably am only and the other thing too is my wife and I are polar opposites on what we like on movies.
yeah.
And I'll watch whatever she wants to watch, but she will not watch some of the movies that I like to watch, kind of a thing. So like if there's a movie that
Oh, so she's racist. Got it. Got it.
it's the violence thing. Like if there's any
Yeah,
kind of like she just doesn't get down with any kind of violent stuff, which I appreciate that about her, to be honest. But
yeah,
like most of the time, if it's a new movie, I'll watch it if it's a director that I like.
yeah.
Like
Christopher Nolan or something like that.
I love Christopher Nolan. I Tarantino's good, but like I'm not a big Tarantino like fanboy like everybody who likes Tarantino likes to say that they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I've seen
I
most of his stuff
yeah
2 to 3 times. I mean,
yeah
like, when they came out and then again later, but I'm
like
not
there's
like
yeah
wild over it.
and then in theater stuff, man, I mean the only stuff I ever really like to go see in theaters anymore. The only stuff, well, I guess the only stuff I've seen in theaters in the last like 6 years has just been when I'd like to go see one of the Marvel movies that comes out like on opening night,
Yeah,
and like that's it. I don't do much. Like the one I regret not seeing in theaters before it came out was I probably would have wanted to go see Maverick in theaters
yeah,
because that movie was great. And I heard it was even better in a theater, which would have been
yeah,
fun, but I didn't see that one. But okay, so let me think. So to answer the second question, we're talking anytime, drop it right in the middle of whoever's prime. Go see him
yep.
live or at a certain show. I feel like Zeppelin would be an easy answer, so I'm going to try and think of something different because
That was the thing. That's like that's the one, but that's the one. You know what I
but
mean?
that's like yeah, that's the give me that
Right.
everybody is going to say. I would probably say because there's a couple that I would have liked to have seen early, like before they were huge kind of situations. You know what I mean? Um, and I gave the example earlier. I probably would have loved to have seen some of this. Oh, okay. I'll tell you exact show because it was the same night that they played back to back. Um, Alice in Chains and Temple of the Dog played at the Moore Theater in Seattle on the same night, and there's tons of great concert footage from that show. It's all black and white on the concert footage. So that's how you know if you're looking at the right concert because all of it's black and white footage. And it's one of the only like Temple of the Dog shows that
Yeah.
was done because I mean, they didn't really tour as them because that was right when Vedder got there and Pearl Jam was starting to get huge, was right around that same time when he joined with them. So it's probably the best live I've ever seen Cornell in a video because that was right at his height of his powers, essentially.
Yeah.
So that one would have been fun. because that was like they were kind of big, but they weren't like the worldwide front of a movement big yet.
Yeah.
And then there's probably like some really old, man, Sinatra would have been pretty fun to see.
It's funny you say that. Did you hear him doing Lil Jon?
The AI thing.
Yeah, dude. From the
Yes.
windows to the walls. I was
So
dying.
funny.
But yeah,
Oh,
that would
he
have
would have
been
been a good
cool.
one.
Um, all right, I
Michael
think
Jackson would have been a cool one.
yeah,
Like mid to late, like bad era Michael Jackson would have been a great concert.
yeah. Dude, I'll tell you what, they had his it's like 21st or 20 I'm sorry, 20th or 25th anniversary at Madison Square Garden
Yeah.
on CBS. That I remember watching it live. And looking back at it now, of course, like Elizabeth Taylor was in the audience and Macaulay Culkin was in the audience and stuff.
Hmm.
But dude, again, you have to kind of you don't have to differentiate the artist from the man, but I think you have to differentiate the creation of the art from the accusations. You
Yeah.
know, like because that dude made some like he changed music,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's undeniable. And like whatever he was as a man, you know, the music. I mean, listen, I know there's places that don't play his stuff, but every time it comes on, it's like I can't help but flash back to when I was a kid. You know, it's like
Yeah,
that
for
that
sure.
was the part of the soundtrack of my youth.
There,
So
there's like it's probably a little bit different now just because streaming is so accessible to so many other people that records and CDs weren't before. But in that era, basically all up until streaming, there really was two, maybe three artists where like you could go almost to like the deepest corner of the darkest jungle in the world and people would know the name Elvis and they know the name Michael Jackson.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what
for
you know
sure.
what I mean? Like,
Do we? I mean, do you think we have that level of artist anymore?
well, as much as I hate to say it, but just based off of streaming numbers, Taylor Swift is freaking giant. Like,
That
and
just
it's
has to
it's
be on a
wild to
vault.
me. It's
It just has to be
wild.
the
Yeah.
fact that she sings to like 5-year-old girls,
Yeah.
but also like 50-year-old women.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and
It's
like
a weird crossover demographic that covers a huge swath of people. Like,
yeah, I don't have T Swift hate. I just have T Swift indifference.
I
Like,
think Jamie Shira just went to a T Swift concert like a week or so ago.
yeah,
I think.
yeah, I've seen like I guess she's touring right now because some of the reels where I follow a lot of music, some of her reels from like recent concerts and shit pop up. Like,
Yeah.
why on earth are you showing me Taylor Swift concert stuff? I
Yeah.
don't give two fucks.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I think for me, again, Zeppelin being an easy obvious. Man, I don't know what era, but Metallica Moscow would be only cool to have been there. I would have
Yeah.
hated that many people. Um, but I think Metallica in the early 90s, like No Leaf Clover era,
Oh,
because you've still got the catalog of all the kick-ass stuff, but you're coming into that like that was the formative years of when I started training a lot too. You know,
yep.
so those were like the
Training
soundtracks.
soundtracks. Yep.
So I think Metallica, like in those years, I would still like to see Het for now. You know, like to see those guys
Have
now.
you seen them
Like
at all?
some, yeah, I've seen them
Okay.
before, and like some of the stuff that they're doing now with Hat, like what's his name, Lee Jeffries, the photographer, is
Yeah.
touring with them right now, and he's doing a lot of the Papa line of Hatfield,
Yeah.
and dude, it's so cool. But they're playing the what song is it that they're playing? Is the well, I'm not even going to do it, but it's like an opera song, but it's him with his earpieces in, smoking a cigar, guitar around his waist, and like you can see the crowd like just chanting behind him,
Yep.
and he's getting ready to go on stage. I'll have to find that because it's really cool because he's gray headed,
Yeah.
you know, but
Old
it's
Grandpa
like
James.
yeah, and it's like man, is that still rock and roll or is it like that is fucking rock and roll? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because
Yep.
I don't feel that way about the Stones. I don't feel that way about like I think that what they're doing is a performance, but I don't consider it rock and roll. But for some
Yeah.
reason, I still consider Metallica like they're still kind of pushing the envelope of who they are. You know,
Hmm.
they got new music out,
Yeah.
and it's not my favorite, but
And
it's not bad either.
this year is the 40th anniversary of their first album.
Yeah, and I mean, what a what a slap in the face of all those people that were like against it. You know,
Yeah.
like
Seriously.
yeah, but I don't know. That would have been a cool one.
That's a good
Let
one.
me let me think of another. Geez, for as much music, I'll tell you. I'll just be honest with you, man. Um, some of the shows that I've seen Tyler at and Sturgill at, that Sturgill show, that I went to one. That Sturgill show in DC when it
Yep.
was like 175 people, and I'm 4 feet from Sturgill on stage. You know, like I I had that ticket. You know, I had the
Yep.
golden ticket for what I would have wanted because, I mean, he was already Sound and Fury Sturgill
Hmm.
releasing. That was the second time he played it to the public, and I got to hear it. So the first night was at the Roxy.
Yeah. I think,
Yeah.
man, there's so many because there's so many that are like
What
dead.
about like
That would have been
Waylon
fun.
or Waylon or Johnny Cash or I
Waylon would
mean,
have, Johnny would have been really fun. But then also like Jimmy would have been awesome.
yeah,
There's so many. Like I don't, and
Stevie
honestly,
Stevie Ray at Austin City Limits. Like,
exactly. How about 1992 Pantera? Like,
dude,
you know what I mean?
so I got to like I told you this. I got to see Anselmo a little bit, being around down,
Yep.
but that was from chasing around Super Joint Ritual and Weed Eater. I got to become friends with Dixie Dave and Kiko from Weed Eater. Like I was
Yep.
supposed to go fishing on a charter boat with Kiko, but man, we had some crazy ass parties in Columbus after the show with Weed Eater. And once we went there, Dixie Dave, if you don't know who that is, he's probably like he's probably more technically proficient than Flea with
Okay.
a
Yep.
bass. But he literally drinks a fifth of Jack Daniels every time he's on stage, and like he puts the microphone in his mouth and he makes this sound. It's like it's crazy, but his eyes are always crossed and he pukes on stage. But it's a show, you
It's a
know.
show. It's
But
all about
anyway,
the experience.
it's the atmosphere, you know.
That's
But
too
there's a
funny.
great place there called Ace of Cups. I saw them, and dude, he was crazy. Last little story about that in Columbus. There was a guy, and he just went by the Angry Gay, and
Okay.
he was the roadie for Weed Eater in Columbus. So he had a pretty cool house, and he had everybody over there. And I'll never forget. He was like, "Bro, we got bruschetta and uh, what are they called? Them boards. We got those boards. We got bruschetta and boards." So I go back to this house, and dude, it was imagine a metal show getting transplanted into a guy's house, and the food was incredible. But I just remember there was this Rottweiler. It's like, don't look at him. He's either going to hump you or bite you. He ain't got no middle. And I was like, all right, dude. That was Columbus.
Oh my goodness,
Uh,
that's hilarious.
Good
Uh,
times.
well, let's wrap it up. You got anything else that we didn't touch on that you wanna go over for this one? So, um, starting with this one, this episode will be on both feeds, just so people can show up and know what's going on. But all our stuff from this one on is going to be over on the Peace Love and Meat feed. So we'll share it from that feed, and just that, obviously we're going to start doing stuff over there. So that's the plan.
We'll keep it rolling. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate the questions, the listens, whatever it is. Thank you very much.